So the summer might be about half over, but that doesn't mean that it's time to stop gardening. One of the things that a lot of gardeners fail to do is take advantage of the cooler temperatures in fall to grow some wonderful fall vegetable crops. But you can actually get lots of production in your garden by planting in midsummer to early fall to get some of those fall crops in that love the cooler temperatures. So I'm here in my own garden and I'm getting ready to plant some fall crops. Some things that will go from mid-fall all the way to even frost and even a light freeze. So some of the things that we can talk about planting this time of year are the cold crops like broccoli, cabbage, cauliflower, and Brussels sprouts. Those things do exceptionally well when you plant them midsummer from mid-July to say early August. And sometimes you can luck out and find those in the garden centers. Either they've gotten in the fall crop ready for fall planting, or they may have some holdovers from the spring and summer planting, and as long as they still look healthy, you can plant those in your garden. If you can't find those, one thing that you can do is actually try direct seeding those crops in your garden. Now, it's not 100% effective, and you might have a few losses here and there, but if you can't find those plants, and it's hard for some people to do that, then you can find those seeds or have them saved from spring to plant in your garden. So you can have that broccoli, cabbage, cauliflower, and my favorite, Brussels sprouts in the garden. Another thing that you can plant are the leafy greens like kale and Swiss chard. Those things do exceptionally well this time of year, and so you can get those plants in the ground and they'll be ready to go. Some things that you might want to hold off on are things like the lettuces and radishes. Those things actually, well, they will bolt in the hot sun that we still have going on here. So you actually want to wait a little bit longer and plant those whenever the temperatures get cool, maybe later in August, and those will give you some nice fall growth. What you can do is look on the back of the seed packet that you have and look at the date. It'll say days to maturity, and what you want to do is actually count backwards from your first frost date, which wherever you are in Nebraska you'll have to look up, but it's usually from early October, maybe even a little into September, depending on where you are, and count backwards. So if it said, say, maturity 80 days, you will count back 80 days, but you want to add a few days to that for what we call the fall factor, because as the temperatures cool down, the growth starts to slow down. And so adding about 2 weeks to that will account for that fall factor when growth starts to slow. You may also want to add a few weeks there for a harvest window so that you have a little extra growth. So you want to count backwards and make sure that you have enough time to get that crop from the seed or plant all the way to maturity. And you can even sneak in some of those summer crops that are very fast growing, like cucumbers or summer squash, beans, or even tomatoes and peppers that mature very quickly. So take a moment, look at what you have, and get that garden planted this summer for great fall crops.